Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast with your host Imperial Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda. Off here to another glorious, wondrous, and near magical Propagandacast. Off here to a 1v1 on the road to Tunis in the west stands Prabuty, fighting for America, freedom, democracy here with the 1st Armoured Division, straight to a special operation start here with the Weasel. In the east stands Charlotte. For the Deutsches Armeekorps, Germany, das Vaterland, here with the 21st Panzerdivision, 3rd Panzergrenadier Company. Off here to an exciting match for sure, as always. So, basic startups here, though. Panzers here for Charlotte. Some like goes for Panzer Pioneer, some early backs, but Charlotte goes for those Panzergrenadier. Thumbs up here from the Propaganda Ministry in Denmark. Scouts, Weasel heading southwards with a... What is this? Engineer squadron northwards here for Prabuty. Worth noting, he has actually not gone for any immediate barracks here. And he, of course, on top of that, we got special operations here from Prabuty. So an interesting, fairly non-meta opening, I think, here for Prabuty. He'll have to get more sort of field presence. But does sort of trade for that by not having as much immediate like combat power. So Prabuty is obviously hoping to like dodge any immediate engagement here for Charlotte. Just hoping Charlotte decides not to just go kicking in all the duels in her range. In the south here, Weasel pushing forwards here. The M29 Weasel was intended for special operations units, but would see service with other units as well. Towards the end, they will basically be used like, by a lot of sort of frontline units in sort of in more rough terrain where the Jeep couldn't go. They would use the Weasel. Fun fact. Panzer Pioneer there in the center. Weasel, of course, being upgraded. Raft there for Prabuty. Otherwise, just very quiet here again for Prabuty. The goal is very much just not get caught up in engagement here for Charlotte, so he's sticking to the sides of the map here, the edges. For now, at least. As for Charlotte, it's obviously also getting as much territory and perhaps locating Prabuty and starting to shoot at him. And as always, by the way, big hearty thanks to my patron supporters for the continued and generous support of the Propagandacast. 2 thumbs up to these wonderful and delightful champions of the Propaganda Ministry. North here, Panzergrenadiers the Engineers here, quickly falling a bit back here, bit of skirmishing there. Centrewards, Rifleman catching the Panzer Pioneer here. Charlotte slightly getting way here, bit concerned about any surprises from Prabuty. Weasel lemming to support the Rifleman, getting a bit shot at there by the Panzer Pioneer. And more Panzers around here should be able to rush down the Engineers, so they start to outmaneuver them, so the cover doesn't quite apply. Second round support there for Prabuty. We got the 3rd Panzergrenadier squad up here for Charlotte and the 21st Panzerdivision. We also got the light support company up here. Skirmishing between the raft spot and the Panzergrenadier. Up north here, Panzergrenadiers and Engineers. Flanking there, getting up quick shots there, and Bob, there goes dead. Bit of a bad engagement for Prabuty, honestly, and there go, he withdraws the Engineers before they get murdered. Here, Rifleman and Panzergrenadiers fighting out here for the eastern cutoff point, but the looks of it, perhaps the eastern field point. Weasel keeps throwing away there, but it's 30 cal route squad moving up here. Things getting much more intense, but Charlotte, at least for now, still enjoys a lot of advantage just due to having more frontline infantry here. So Prabuty needs to be a bit more savvy in how he engages. I think Charlotte, for now, but just risks being caught up into these engagements. Just Charlotte enjoys the tactical advantage. And what do we have here? We have the infantry support center, of course, means a captain for Prabuty plus upgrades for the infantry. North Route squad push back to the Panzergrenadier, but so far Charlotte and the German army is very much in the lead. We do have the scouts occupying some prime real estate here against the Germans. Drops York in there like a sack of potatoes. And we got the light support company up here with an MG-34 for Charlotte. South side remains firmly American except for that one field point here. North side, though, is distinctly more German. So, troops reinforcing here. Infantry support center going up. Prabuty, of course, probably might consider either the medical station up. Veterans 1 bonus here for the Weasel soon, or a medical station to be built, because some of his men are definitely starting to look like they could do with some first aid. Flame Venues pulling forwards here. And there we go, we do have the MD-34 team around for Charlotte and the German army. Scouts moving forwards. North here, route squad catching the punch with Charlotte actually caught a bit extended. And Prabuty, of course, rapidly exploiting this, as he very well should. Straight for the carpenter with the scouts, but they do have an MD-34 team ready to hose off these Americans with some good old-fashioned German-led. North Engineers, Weasel, there we go, gaining veterans 1. Well, yeah, we do get the medical station here for Prabuty. He could, of course, also consider either a mortar here or a heavy machine gun to provide additional fire support. Meanwhile, ambulance ready for Charlotte, and we do get the fire support elements here for Charlotte. So likely looking here at a flak feeling for Charlotte. They are definitely popular with some players. Meanwhile, here we have armor support, very much. Actually, you know, classic current battle group choice there for a lot of DAK players, because it's just nice and flexible. So it tends to be fairly popular with a variety of DAK players, because, you know, it just does a lot of things. None of them particularly well, but, you know, well enough. North Iraq squad, they're going for deep flank. Looked up with the machine gun here. Sharp play of Prabuty. Captain, though, does take a bit of a beating here. And despite everything, though, I mean, Prabuty's really managed to get some excellent max on it versus Charlotte. I think just partly courtesy of just, you know, the units he has and the way he's been using them. Despite Charlotte then having, you know, a much more, shall we say, combat, you know, ready force, Charlotte hasn't quite been able to leverage it. Meanwhile, we got a mortar out here for Prabuty, likely dropped by the Weasel, and we got the motor pool here, could likely be a Greyhound or maybe a Chaffee, depending on what Prabuty's concerned Charlotte might be up to. Charlotte, though, likely going to go for a flak feeling here any moment now. Weasel probing up here. Catching the punchers in the bad spot here. Here we go, flak feeling for Charlotte. Mortar firing down here. Brief shot there. And overall, just Charlotte finding herself very much in the back foot right now versus Prabuty and the German army. Back here, we got the ambulance falling back. Panzer Grenadiers MG firing northwards. Flak feeling slowly arriving. A bit further skirmishing up north. Flak feeling almost unengineers probing in. We got the Weasel moving up here too. Engaging there. Charlotte's Panzer Grenadier veterans who won, but that doesn't really matter in the face of so much firepower here from Prabuty. More troops arriving here to try and stabilize the situation by the northern front, but the 1st Armoured Division is not slowing down here in the face of the 21st. Flak feeling there, good to go. Machine gun there in a bit of an awkward spot here, but keeps fighting nonetheless for the fun. And now we got the flak feeling. Definitely bad news for any American infantry and light vehicles calling its path, due to, well, 4 2cm anti-aircraft guns. And we got the Greyhound out here for Prabuty. There's the flak feeling. This could go either way, but with the veteran gunner's ability, the flak feeling definitely enjoys a distinct advantage. Perhaps not as distinct there. Rather does rely on armor-piercing ammunition ability there. And currently Charlotte doesn't have that. We do get here Charlotte just in time, perhaps, with the anti-hunters there, the Panzerjägers. Looks like, no, not soon enough here. And Charlotte's flak filling just gets blown apart here by Prabuty. A stinging blow hit to the German army and an excellent early kill. He does in hand lose the Greyhound, so it becomes a bit more, well, so-so. Now to start really getting here. That's it. Charlotte, with salvage kits, can at least, well, gain back the lost fuel and then some. So it's a small net gain here for Charlotte and the Germans over the Americans. The Germans were big scavengers, even in North Africa. They actually, like, notes how, you know, from, I think, the British, how the Germans in the middle of the night would go out, like, to just, like, start, you know, pulling back tanks and whatnot from the battlefield to recover. So, little fun fact there. South here, Panzer P about to engage with engineers. Victory points wise, small lead for Prabuty, but not a big. And we got another ground out here. Prabuty lives the Greyhound dream. But what dream does Charlotte believe in? The flak feeling? Or will Charlotte have said enough is enough and try and push for Panzer IIIs?
The victory point is being taken from us.
Certainly some questions here to be asked and answered. North here, we got the Weasel supporting troops there as well. MD-34 being sent northwards. Greyhound just smouldering. Interesting enough has not salvaged that one. And Charlotte goes for a second flak feeling. She believes in the flak feeling dream. 2 thumbs up. And we got a 30 cal as well for Prabuty. Oh my, he's really getting some value out of that Weasel, isn't he? Captaining forts, machine turning up maneuver the Ralph squad here. Bit awkward here for Charlotte and the 21st Panzer Division. The machine gun seems to be having some issues there. In the south here, Panzer flying around the 30 cal. They're at least attempting to, but the assault is very much just heavy fire from both machine gun and mortar, halting Charlotte's advance there. The second flak feeling has arrived. Definitely not every day you see 2 flak feelings in a match. So it's quite interesting to see here what Charlotte will achieve with the second one. Will this one go down just as fast, or will this one have perhaps a slightly more, you know, bigger tale to tell? Catch from obstacle here, wedged between the Panzerjägers and the flak feeling. They are not having a great time, and Prabuty backs off, since obviously a Panzerjägers backing up a flak feeling would be a suicidal attempt to take on for the Greyhound. Still, Prabuty maintains good map control here, good pressure against Charlotte, and Charlotte is definitely struggling to keep up here. And we got here the advanced logistics upgrade, which basically reduces reinforcement costs here, and also means like Triad Station, which it doesn't have, that also provides, you know, a bit of experience, but still just cheap reinforcements is quite powerful. So powerful, in fact, that the abilities they gave in the battle groups, of course, had to be nerfed to make it a lot less accessible. Of course, for the Americans, that's not quite possible. But, you know, so, you know, make them that way less accessible. But again, you know, it's a very good upgrade to have. So, very smart, of course, here for Prabuty to go for that one. Does also tend to be popular within, like, rifleman bar heavy builds. You should very much expect to see that one. Perhaps occasionally military surplus and certainly survival training in the longer run also tends to be a good addition. So we got the anti-tank here for Prabuty to respond, of course, to the flak feeling. The Panzerjägers, which Charlotte, of course, is doing an excellent job keeping close to the flak feeling, means he's going to need something with a bit more reach. Could, of course, go for the Chaffee, but again, it's going to suffer a bit the same issue with the Greyhound, which is if it tries to get close, it's not just the flak feeling has to deal with it, but the anti-tank rifles. We're moving forwards, punch occupying the nearby house here. We've got 6-man squads for Charlotte. Thumbs up. And we've also got SSF commandos unlocked for Prabuty, and we got the raiding flares. So there's quite a few abilities picked up. South here, Charlotte moving forwards. The glory of Deutschland. Up north here, we got the flak feeling aggressively going for the captain. Hammering away at me with the flak feeling.
Commander, the enemy holds all victory points.
South here, Panzers here. Push back with the Greyhound. Overwhelming fire here from Prabuty.
Ready to get to it.
And we got the metal station up here for Prabuty.
A fuel point is being lost.
South side here, machine gun grabbing the munitions point here. What will be Charlotte's next move? Will it be tech? Once she gets the fuel, of course. Or will it be, I don't know, more flak feelings? And tank here with the info support securing the center. 426 was 421. Victory points wise, they're keeping pretty close to each other here, and neither player really gaining an edge over the other one so far here. And up north, here close to the German supply lines here, Prabuty probes ahead, but is met with fierce resistance from Charlotte and the 21st Panzer Division's MG teams, and of course the flak feeling. Pushing in, engaging the infantry out in the open, punching the quarter with the Greyhound. Good shots there. Further damage here to the Greyhound, down to less than half health. BAR's up here, Prabuty, but with only 2 rifle squads, it does feel a bit excessive. Part of me feels like we at least have another rifle squad out here. I mean, it's still obviously a good upgrade, but in terms of how much value does it gain from it, I'm perhaps a bit less clear on that one. Also, it's a fun sight on the flak feeling, but, you know, typically, you know, these kind of utility vehicles, like how most anti-aircraft, you know, guns of the self-propelled kind were basically set up. A lot of them were just, you know, half-tracks or trucks, basically, you know, with an anti-aircraft gun mounted on the back on pretty much both sides. Fun fact, anti-aircraft tanks were, in most cases, the exception rather than the norm, except for, like, you know, some few armored units. And his routes got being pelted here by heavy flak fire, plus, of course, the Panzers moving in. No upgraded with machine gun gewehr, and so far, I think, for Charlotte, though. Bit interesting here. Being provided here by the mortar. In fact, Prabuty has gone for 2 mortars here. Definitely something I'm noticing more and more American players are committing to. It is basically just more and more mortars. Like, typically 2, though, case a few cheeky players might even try for 3, but, like, 2 mortars can, in the right hands, be a real pain in the posterior. 30 cal there being besieged by the flak feeling. Now Veterans 1, which of course opens up for the armor piercing rounds ability here. Switching out to Charlotte a bit here. No further abilities chosen. None whatsoever. And we do get the Panzerarmee Command.
Strategic point.
Oh. North here, though, Prabuty strikes for freedom against the German lines. Machine gun team flying a bit of backup here. Flak feeling reversing here because, you know, she wants to make sure the gun immediately starts firing at targets rather than having to, like, swivel around to fire at the targets. That is how you typically want to do with it. It's just reverse move a lot when it comes, like, close to the front line. And then, of course, that means you can also just, like, immediately just right-click to where you need to move it afterwards if you need to get out fast, so. Bit of a note thing. Engineers push back. Our mortars keep on biting. Charlotte could, of course, try and counter with the Leichthinfantergeschütz and then go weasel down. Small nice kill here for Charlotte versus Prabuty. Big 2 points rise to Prabuty. He's gaining a slightly bigger lead over Charlotte.
Neutralized by the enemy.
Panzerarmee Commando is up for Charlotte though, and the 21st Panzer Division, that of course means Panzer III's very much on the table now here.
Vehicles must maintain
And will certainly be a bit of a challenge here for Prabuty. We do here have the Panzer Storm.
the victory point is being taken.
South Panzer being assailed here by the Greyhound, and it's 37 on the gun, and of course 30 cal Crackshell and 50 cal Pendle Mount. Got double barred weaponry engaging the Panzers on the retreat here. In the center though, Prabuty launches a counterattack. Charlotte's men slightly being forced off here, but they remain otherwise fairly dug in.
Proximity alarm near our capture. We have taken the advantage.
Charlotte getting the victory point over Prabuty. And Charlotte getting fairly close here to Panzer III soon enough. Meanwhile, the mortars just keep hammering away there at Charlotte's positions here.
Proximity alarm near our victory point.
Merciless is attacks here, flak filling northwards. Slowly approaching 82 in the south here. Panzergrenadier is the captain. Plenty of munitions, but interesting enough, not seeing any of the Panzergrenadier being equipped with MG34s. I mean, it's possible that Charlotte's saving up for the Stuka anti-tank loiter. Not impossible at all. But even then, I feel like, you know, having a bunch of machine guns on 6-man Panzergrenadiers would be a pretty solid investment here for Charlotte. But there you go. Right and trying to hit on the field point are interdicted by the flak feeling and immediately met with fire. God damn those Krauts hitting us with anti-aircraft guns. That's cheating.
Proximity alarm near our munitions point.
Like feeling near half 8 of Etienne 2 in the south, they got the captain probing forwards here. And Charlotte very closely to the Panzerkampfwagen 3, Ausführung L. As for Prabuty, we do have the tank depot up here. Still no SSF commanders though. Still no SSF commanders. Part of me would expect to see them. No mortar fire here. Those mortars continue to do, I would say, fairly good work here for Prabuty against Charlotte. Northern machine gun and watch Graham going to look to exploit any potential gaps in the northern lines. Of course, the flak feeling with armor piercing ammunition and the veteran gun's ability could put a pretty effective halt to that. Also worth noting, we do have the emergency repair kits already, so there you go, popping in here with the armor piercing rounds, but Prabuty already sensing something, just as engaged with this Greyhound before it becomes a no-hound. Mega Raft instead facing the wrath of the flak feeling. So we got veteran squad leaders and emergency repair kits here researched for Charlotte. Panzer III on the way there. North here rather getting pummeled. Also, it's a fun fact, but like, you know, for a good part of like the North African campaign, like the vast majority of the German tanks were basically old Panzer Is and Panzer IIs, with some Panzer IIIs and a few number of Panzer IVs. Little fun side note there. Plus, of course, a lot of Italian tanks. North Iraq being pelted with the flak feeling. Pinned down to the ground, no mercy from Deutschland. South side could perhaps be a bit more exploited here by Charlotte versus Prabuty. Here the machine continues to form up in an excellent blocking position, halting a large force here of Charlotte. You probably should just consider withdrawing here, bring in something else. And I think Prabuty's going for, yeah, a supply drop here. That means an anti-tank gun and another machine gun. Plus, of course, some supplies. Panzerfleet moving up there. The Panzerkampfwagen 3 Ausführung L. First shows a proper model with a high velocity gun of the 50mm kind. There was also the Panzerfleet model J1, which is just more of an upgraded J1, but you know, this was sort of more proper. Center rifling met here with some pretty fierce firepower. Prabuty, still no sign of tanks here. Of course, with this large fuel crate, I imagine that's going to happen. There it goes Sherman on the way for Prabuty. Freedom and democracy. Panzerfleet roaming southwards here for Charlotte. Already closing on the second Panzerfleet here though for Charlotte. Popping back to Prabuty. Moves back to lead here with Charlotte. Machine gun teams, they're getting hammered by the mortars. Like, they're doing pretty good work here for Prabuty. Both their burst shells. And not quite there with the survival training. Not quite there. They'll introduce, in fact, they also got grenades now for Prabuty. Still 2 rifles. Oh, actually up to 3 now. Very good here. Very good. That definitely makes the bar upgrade a lot more sensible. Of course, could still go for like a 4th one. So there's certainly also an argument. Yes, for some SSF commandos. North, another attempt here by the 1st Armoured Division to break through. He is thwarted by the MG Fed from the flak feeling. Fully called in there. And we got small encounter here. Sherman forts there for Prabuty. Freedom, democracy, liberty. Riflemen pushing forwards here past wreckage and ruin. Machine gun team moving up. Panzers moving up as well here. Still no sign of machine guns here for any of Charlotte's forces. Riflemen they are met with a heavy fusillade and they are forced to withdraw. Flak feeling moving in there. Got arm piercing rounds. Great versus the Greyhound, but versus that Sherman, that's going to be just an invitation for getting the flak feeling blown to bits. Prabuty floating a fair amount of manpower here. Could of course planning M18 Hellcats, but you know, commanders here could be an idea. Or of course, you know, that upgrade there with the survival training. So there's a lot of tougher troops here, would certainly not hurt Prabuty in the slightest. So there's certainly parts here that Prabuty could decide to explore versus Charlotte. So far he seems just fairly happy with the one that's called Lotto Mortify against those goddamn crowds. As for Charlotte, we do get a 2nd Panzerfleet arriving here. Reporting Engineers, anti-tank coming up here soon on the Panzerfleet. There we go, several shots down to half health in a matter of moments. Racing in here. Looks like Charlotte's going to launch a large-scale assault here on Prabuty's positions here by the southern compound. And if it goes off, could really leave, you know, Prabuty a bit staggered in a bad position. But that said, lacking enough armored support here, this may be a bit harder to achieve here for... Oh, never mind, we got Luftwaffe, of course. Forgot about the Luftwaffe. Stukas there, raining down death from above. Anti-aircraft guns non-existent, means the anti-tank guns, and the rest are just quite exposed here. And this means Prabuty is very much just forced to abandon the scene of combat here, allowing Charlotte to gain it here. Obviously at a fairly high munitions expenditure, but Prabuty, of course, ready to return the favour here with the P-47 strafing around here. Quickly dodge, and the flak feeling here could chip them down. Or not. Guess it doesn't really matter at this point. Mortars there spotted around it. Prabuty forced to withdraw here. Could go for another Sherman now. Could still go for some SSF commanders. And there you go. Another Sherman here for Prabuty. Freedom, democracy, liberty in the south. Panzer continue pushing forwards. Panzerfleet there self-repairing. Other one could also do with some repairs. However likely. Victory points wise, it's 310 versus 268 here. Prabuty still has the lead over Charlotte. For now at least. And the flak feeling just continues to hammer away at anything that looks suspiciously American. Popping back to Charlotte. Still a lot of missiles floating. Still no machine guns for the Panzergrenadiere. Definitely getting the impression that Charlotte's just saving up everything for the Stuka anti-tank loiter. Maybe a bit of battlefield savage down the road, and of course Panzerstorm. Back here we do have a 3rd Panzerfleet for Charlotte, and simply like, you know, one of the main DAK strategies is go for a lot of Panzerfleets. In particular some upgrades here, for example tungsten comminution. Could be a very good thing to have all these Panzer IIIs for increased penetration here. Greyhound failing to punch through the Panzer III's armor. Sherman, of course, having no such issues. And the Panzer III is forced back. Sherman's advancing, engaging the Panzergrenadier. Third Panzer III almost done, but Charlotte's men are getting absolutely pulverized here by Prabuty's display of raw firepower from both the mortars and the Shermans. Third Panzer III has arrived. Could also see a vehicles fire package for a bit of extra health, but also access to smoke. That could also be a very good addition here for Charlotte versus Prabuty's Sherman. And they're going to take back up, plus the Grand Ultimate up here. Prabuty here with a sort of steady advance here versus Charlotte. German positions of the 21st Panzer being further pushed back. Panzer III here ready for Charlotte. Of course, the war went on. The Panzer III was just simply not adequate as a chassis. Just couldn't mount a big enough guns like, help, consistently fight like, say, Sherman or T-34s after a certain point. So the Panzer III, of course, would eventually be fully relegated just Stug production, as that chassis served excellently for that. And while, of course, some Panzer III would see service until the end of the war, these are ones that have been produced and been relegated for training units and such other non-frontline purposes. Of course, they would be drawn into it, as fighting got close to those training schools. That's another story. Meanwhile, though, Sherman's pushing forwards here. You can see here, Charlotte being forced back here as Prabuty just continues to unleash his armored fist upon Charlotte in the south here. Panzer III is pushing forwards. Getting the scouts. Could see a YP on Prabuty. Scouts in the south. Meanwhile, this further here, we got the Shermans and the anti-tanks flank here. Charlotte's Panzer III, so we could see a Panzer knocked out. There we go. Great kill for Charlotte. Huge blow here to Charlotte, really. Down just 2 Panzer IIIs again, and there's still 2 anti-tank guns and 2 Shermans to deal with. And of course, Prabuty could now just keep building even more Shermans. So, situation for Charlotte got a bit more uncomfortable. Plus, Prabuty there is hitting crucial supply lines. So the situation for the German army just got a lot more tense here. Panzer III firing at Ralph's column sword. And there goes straight from ground again here. Prabuty does not miss a beat to unleash the might of the United States Air Force. Going back to Prabuty here. Ooh, she crashed down right into the base. Just too bad it already done its part. Prabuty continues to develop manpower, could consider some caches, but otherwise, part of me would suggest still some SSF commanders, except Prabuty's active for pop caps, so never mind. Caches, though, could still be an option. Munitions caches or fuel caches. Other, of course, would be able to assist Prabuty in perhaps maintaining his lead a bit better, for example, by having more access to P-47 strafing runs. Or other such matters. Sherman's being northwards here. Both veterans won, but also both somewhat banged up here by German attempt to knock them out. Panzer Pioneer being met with a storm of lead here, as Prabuty just fires anything he's got at them. Base here, do you see any further upgrades? No, despite having a significant resource hump, like, he's not, say, going for survival training, which I feel like would just help him, like, further cement his lead, or munitions surplus, or the demolitions package. I feel like that's a bit of an oversight by Prabuty here. Of course, he might disagree and actually have some reasons for why he wouldn't go for those upgrades, but I feel like when he's at almost a full pop cap, he's got, like, a lot of manpower and fuel, investing in some of these upgrades would be a really solid idea here. Meanwhile, Charlotte bringing in more Panzer IIIs. Excellent choice there, though not like Charlotte has that many other options except going for the mechanized company and some armors, or even trying to, like, go for the bigger tanks.
A victory point is under attack.
310 versus 298. Prabuty's lead continues to build up here against Charlotte. Charlotte will need to do something, I think, fairly drastic here. Some great tactical maneuver that completely blindsides Prabuty.
Stay the hell down.
Red tails reporting.
Looks like Charlotte's going ready here for a big Panzer push here. Panzer III's flak feeling in from there. Looks like it's going to be a southern hook here against Prabuty. Swing up here across the southern half here. Attacking to the road here. Catching the anti-tanks off guard here. This is exactly what the doctor ordered if your doctor was a German Panzer commander. And some doctors, in fact, were. There you go. Luftwaffe going in an absolute blitzkrieg assault here. Prabuty is completely caught with his trousers down by Charlotte as she just comes kicking in there and just fires everything she's got at Prabuty. Prabuty definitely got to relax, and Charlotte just punishes him for it. Like a very irate teacher just discovered one of the students sleeping in class here. Sherman's done, Greyhound done, an absolute blitzkrieg. Oh boy, anti-tank gun's gone. Sherman's gone. Like, infantry also somewhat gone, and whew, that was just beautiful. That was just pure blitzkrieg, like just concentrating all of the armor, infantry, and air support in like one direction for like just one decisive blow there. Completely crushing there Prabuty's backbone. Beautiful. 2 thumbs up. That one is right for the school books. If it's the school books, color companies 3. Flag feeling though went down. Oh, it actually hasn't gone down. It's actually actually 3 here. Just thought it had because it kind of looked a bit burning there. But anyways, Hellcat out here with a Chaffee on the way for Prabuty. Suddenly, of course, responding in a flurry action here to just this insult, in a sense, to this absolute reincarnation of Rommel there. Just smashing through his lines. Hellcat aiming against for the Panther Fleet. Charlotte pushing in with Panther Storm here. Hellcat can't keep the distance here, but the retreating infantry does halt the Panther Fleet. We've got the Chaffee up here flanking the Panther Fleet, but he hits his own mortar crew. Anti-tank guns being now flung out here by Prabuty. The Panther Fleet swing in here against the Hellcat, and the Hellcat goes down. Prabuty's chances are suddenly looking a lot less bright. Anyone got the machine here versus the flag feeling? Got a strafing gun being unleashed here. Charlotte, though, is quick to dodge. Hunter Pioneer, though, less quick. First anti-tank and ready signal on the way here. Prabuty launches another assault here. Panther Fleet being caught out in the open by the Chaffee. Now the aircraft knocked out of the skies here with the flag feeling. Great shot here from the Panther Fleet against the advancing rifleman. More Panther Fleet fire here. Damaged engine though. Back to Charlotte. Was now more or less the 1 at 4 pop cap here. And a 4th Panther Fleet on the way here. Of course, at this point, technically, she could try and go for the mechanized company set up for the armored reserves. A theoretical option. I'm not necessarily saying she should do it, but she, I think, could maybe consider it. Flak Pioneer finally goes down. I mean, compared with the first one, that one really went the distance and did absolute havoc here on Prabuty and the 1st Armoured. Good God. And of course, as soon as it goes down, it's immediately replaced by a fresh Panther Fleet there from the reserves. Pushing Charlotte up to 4 Panther Fleets now. Versus Prabuty with the Chaffee and some anti-tank guns. I mean, just talk about a comeback and a turnaround. You really wouldn't see something like that in Company 2, that's for sure. Beautiful. So, Panther Fleets are being repaired. Charlotte has withdrawn. Could have tried maintaining a front line here, but I think there's too much risk involved. Having done enough damage, Charlotte, I think, made the right choice in just withdrawing to her lines, reorganizing, and then lining up for another push against Prabuty, because Prabuty definitely got weakened from that. But could have maybe, like, gained a comeback there if Charlotte then, like, you know, I think stuck around there longer than she could actually maintain a force for. Anyway, I think this could be better if she actually popped Battlefield Salvage, I think. Puncher there being hit by mortar fire. You got 2 Panther Fleet by 82. Extra bad news for Prabuty's infantry. So what is Prabuty's plan here against Charlotte now? There's the big question. How will he get out of this mess? He's going to go for another Sherman here. Could also, of course, consider Hellcats. I'm guessing you want something that has a chance of striking off some of the shots here from Charlotte's Panzers. We do also have the vehicles for the package. I mean, at this point, the only thing she really needs for the Panther Fleets is basically the tungsten ammunition. South side here, Panther Fleet being fought, engaging some unfortunately exposed riflemen under Prabuty's command of the 1st Armoured. Chaffee, actually entertain the flank to the side armor of the Panther Fleet. Good shots here. 134 was 249. And there go another Sherman crashing through whatever foliage is left here in the desert. Couldn't we like driven around that tree? Nah, had to do it. Just had to. Got a BAR left behind there. Charlotte clearly has not much in stock for American equipment. Strafe run here completely whiffs there. Punch raising force into the Sherman and the mortar. Could also consider, of course, some grenade upgrades with the Panzergrenadier. Don't think that'd be a bad upgrade, honestly. But of course, also opening up for the Half-Poladnung, which was a magnetic mine, really. I believe. So yeah, with just one attack here, Charlotte just shifted the entire weight of the battle in her favor. For now, I was like in a very favored position here for Prabuty. Quite impressive. Meanwhile, we do have the mechanized company, so it could be Charlotte might be planning this up here for the armored reserves. Sort of like, you know, sort of plan B in some case, like suddenly loses a lot of Panther Fleece, but then has the resource, like, say, calling a Tiger Tank or something like that. Not necessarily a bad option. There you go, another push forward here for Charlotte and the German Panzerwaffe, the Panther Fleece, rolling across here the western fields here. Chaffee being pummeled by the Panther Fleece. Anti-tank guns there being caught out of position here. Yeah, we go. Chaffee down. Anti-tank gun steeply exposed here. Good flank then with the rapid fire. You could see the anti-tank crews there utterly obliterated in a matter of seconds. And there we go. This is going to be the second time Prabuty loses all of his anti-tank guns. With that, he surrenders here to the armored might of the fatherland and the tactical genius of Charlotte. So there you go, an absolute cracker of a match here between Charlotte and Prabuty. A lot of back and forth match here with some great turnaround moments. And just that one Panther attack here with the Stuka anti-tank loiter backed up infantry was just pure, undistilled blitzkrieg. Just 2 thumbs up to that. It was just a complete swing around there. Textbook. So, hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, tell your family, perhaps even your enemies, so they can learn on the might of the Propagandacast. And if you like what the Propagandacast does, wish to keep it going, you can also donate or pledge on Patreon. Every bit helps me out there. Links in the description. This is Imperial Legion. Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting and riveting episode. Bye, everyone.